Hey, welcome to the Laughing Tap. We have a very special show for you tonight. You all know why you're here. Put your hands together and let me hear how loud you can get for Bobcat Goldthwait. That's loud enough. I don't even need to do the, oh, I know you got better. That was good. You were good. I'm going to be your host tonight. My name is Schmidt. To tell you something about myself, I could be described as socially liberal, but fiscally, right out of the gate. Okay, first time at a comedy show, or are you like here to be tossed? No, we'll give him a chance. Now, please do not interrupt the comics this evening. It's going to make a better show for everybody. I don't know. I probably sound like a total liberal up here, don't I? Ooh, what's going on? Everybody. Hug the person to your left, hug the person to your right. Kiss on the mouth, we'll put on a mask first still, because we're all getting used to being together again. Now, if I may start over, I could be described as socially liberal, but fiscally depressed. Now you can say you're sorry. I got progressive opinions, but I can't afford therapy. Of course, if I could afford therapy, then I might not be so liberal, you know? I'm happy to see our professional culture evolve and become more accommodating. I actually just flew in from a conference on the implementation of gender neutrality in the workplace. And boy or girl are my arms tired. See, I'm learning. I am trying to be a better person. I recently donated blood for the first time. Do we have any other blood donors here this evening? Don't hoard your blood. Share it. Share the blood. I thought I was doing a real good thing, but the folks at Goodwill seemed to disagree. They were horrified for some reason. One of them called the police. I was like, the thank you will suffice. When you donate blood, I think the biggest strike against it is they ask a lot of questions for someone that you are doing a favor for. It feels very intrusive. If I helped a friend move and I showed up and he greeted me with an interrogation, I don't know, I'd either withdraw my offer to help him move or maybe drop a couch on his foot. Being rude. First thing they asked me, they barely even said hello before they asked me if I've ever had sex with a man. I was like, absolutely not. We make love. Don't make it sound cheap. Then they asked if I've ever traded sex for drugs, money, or any other form of payment. I was like, no, but how might I arrange that? So I've just been doing it for clout, like a sucker. They asked if in the last 4 months I've been in contact with anyone else's blood. I was like, yeah, only my victims. And they told me they wouldn't be needing my blood. They rejected my blood. I'm wearing contact lenses. That's a change for me. I've always been a glasses guy. But I showed up for a date not too long ago and I was wearing my spectacles. And the first words out of her mouth were, ew, you wear glasses? I was like, when I need to see. I think that was gross. And okay, maybe I was a little deceptive. I wasn't wearing the glasses in my profile picture. But I wasn't expecting that to be a deal breaker. I didn't think she was going to be a sight supremacist. I was like, what's really the turnoff here? The frames or the genetic inferiority? I think I dealt with the situation pretty well, though. I just took the glasses off and said, there, now we're both more attractive. That felt pretty good. That was one for the highlight reel. I almost walked out of that coffee shop with my chin real high. But I didn't put my glasses back on before I made my dramatic exit. So I turned around and strutted right into a wall. That's not even the worst date I've ever been on. I actually didn't know my worst date was the worst at the time. I thought it was just an average bad one because it wrapped up early. I can take that clue. But she said she was really active on social media, so I decided to check her Twitter the next day to see if she said anything about me. Sometime overnight, she had tweeted a video blog about how she had just been out with the most boring man she's ever met. Yeah, and I can't tell you how much it hurt to know immediately after our date, she went out with some other guy. I don't think I even want to see her again. Trollop. I'm a former high school teacher. I got the vibe this audience wasn't going to be too impressed by that. Some people applaud me when I say that, and that's the wrong response. Don't applaud teachers. Give them a moment of silence. That's what they really need. I was not a good teacher, though. I'm a bad authority figure. I always had a really hard time telling my students no, especially when they asked if I was looking to buy weed. Because I hated lying to them. And I was kind of relying on that discount they would trade me for a passing grade. Can't afford to turn down a good deal on a teacher's salary. A lot of people think that marijuana negatively affects academic performance. I can tell you for a fact it doesn't. Because after I started smoking pot, all of my students' grades drastically improved. Their essays used to be pretty hard to read, but now I'm like, oh, I get it. Their spelling mistakes used to infuriate me, but now they're like fun word puzzles to solve. I was giving those kids a lot of F's before, now I'm giving them FOs. For far out. I actually quit smoking weed for an entire year, 2 years ago. That was the year I was going to really try to get my life together, but 1 year later I was not in a better place at all. No new career, no new relationship. So that was a bummer to find, but on the plus side, I now know for a fact drugs are not the problem. I can get high as I want, it doesn't matter. I'm still a huge failure, but I'm way less anxious about it. I've been enjoying the dispensaries. That's a nice thing. Just easier than meeting a drug dealer. I have the same problem meeting drug dealers I have with meeting women. I'm too shy to make the first move. I just kind of try to hang out and look cool and trustworthy. Drug dealers have the same problem meeting me. Women do, though. I try to introduce them to my parents too soon. I just want them to chill. But I really like going to the dispensaries. It reminds me, I haven't been that happy in a store since when I was a little kid. My parents would take me to Toys R Us. Do we got any Toys R Us kids here? They're a dying breed now. What magical times those were, though. I was always so happy. The colors were all so appealing. Just like at a dispensary. The employees were all really nice. Just like at a dispensary. I spent way too much of my parents' money. Just like at a dispensary. I do have some sad Toys R Us related news. Do we all remember their brand ambassador, Jeffrey? He's not doing so well. Apparently he's having a hard time adjusting to life on the outside. Can't find a new job, living on the streets, turning to drugs and alcohol to numb the pain. I guess he got so bad he attempted to hang himself. Fortunately, he's a giraffe. So he landed on his feet. Alright, look, if we can't laugh at giraffe suicide, what are we doing here? How are we going to make this work? And how are you going to feel about my human suicide jokes? Let's find out. Make some noise if you've ever had any suicidal thoughts at all. Good. I think it's good to be able to share that. The people we really got to worry about are those who couldn't make any noise. You got to be able to open up about it. I don't think I would ever kill myself, but I do want to plan in case I ever have to kill myself. And I get hung up on what method I would use, you know? Like gun to the head, that should be a no-brainer. But firearms are expensive, and I don't want to pay that much for something I'm only going to use the once. Hang myself like our friend Jeffrey, I don't think I could stand the suspense. I think the ideal thing for me would just be to swerve into oncoming traffic. That way I could avoid dying alone. Alright, you might think that's too dark for a comedy club. You should hear how it goes over with my Uber passengers. Well, you're the one who wanted to hear a joke, so here you are. You better give me 5 stars or you're going in the note. If you still have too much respect in me, I might take care of that right now when I tell you I'm a professional wrestling fan. I got some other ones here tonight. It can be an embarrassing fandom sometimes. People don't respect us. A lot of people are like, what do you get out of watching 2 guys pretend to fight? I'm like, I don't know. What did you get out of growing up watching 2 people pretend to love each other? And how much did you hate it when they really fought? I'll tell you what, you show me a married couple that can cooperate as well as two professional wrestlers do, well, that's a match that's fit for a ring. That's quality, you all know it. As a wrestling fan, I did catch a break over the pandemic, though, because all of the legitimate sports had to stop. Wrestling just kept right on going. Because Vince McMahon went to the Florida Athletic Commission and got professional wrestlers declared essential employees. Which is ridiculous, right? I mean, really, the only wrestler we absolutely needed during the pandemic was The Undertaker. I know that's dark too, but it's a culturally relevant joke about professional wrestling. It might be my greatest accomplishment. I am glad that we're past the mask mandate now. I didn't like that awkward period in between where every business kind of had their own rules for masks. I just had to start treating masks like condoms. If I walk in the room and everyone else is wearing one, well, sure, I'll put one on too. That just seems fair. But if I walk in the room and no one else is wearing one, maybe I should put one on. Seems like a good idea. I've been dating again. I kind of like what I learned about myself through the people I go out with. Not so long ago, I went home with a woman who had a clit piercing, and I learned I like that. Quite a bit. It just made it so much easier to find. Finally justified the purchase of that metal detector. Didn't get anything on the beach, but buried treasure in the bedroom. I'm finding I can't date dog people. You know them right away because they're in a profile picture with their dog. I've tried. I'm not a dog person, and I can't appreciate what that animal means to them. I tried going out with a girl who had a dog, and I came home and she had done that move where she spread the peanut butter on herself, and the dog was licking it off. You know, and that didn't sit well with me because how come he gets peanut butter? We're supposed to go down there for the love of the game? That doesn't seem fair. I am pretty vanilla, but I let my partners try to lead me into things. I had one girlfriend who offered to fulfill my wildest sexual fantasy. I was like, whoa, okay. But first, you're gonna have to adopt me. It's only weird if you make it weird. That's not an incest joke. Let me be clear. That's not about incest. It's about wanting someone else to assume responsibility of my student loans. Because I can't imagine anything making me come harder. Joe Biden might make me come real hard right now. I get concerned about what my matches say about me. I notice I match up with a lot of women whose profiles say they're fans of true crime podcasts. And I just worry about what murder fanatics are seeing in me, you know? I'm like, do you think I'm attractive or do you think I'm a potential suspect? I asked one woman if she wanted to get a drink, and her response was, I don't know. Are you a serial killer? I was like, do you want me to be? I mean, I'm a team player, so if you insist, I guess I could choke you, but not to completion. She told me to get back to her when I'm ready to commit. Commit what? That's a bad way of phrasing that. I know, I feel the tension right now. I shouldn't do jokes that imply I could be a serial killer, because I do have 3 of the main characteristics of serial killers. I'm slender, I'm white, and I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. That's our legacy. That's like one of the only interesting things about Milwaukee, too. Whenever I'm on the road, the only things people want to talk to me about are either beer, cheese, or Dahmer. Like, all we do here is either drink our feelings, or eat our neighbors. Which is why you never trust someone who's sober and lactose intolerant in Milwaukee. I was in like middle school when the whole Jeffrey Dahmer thing happened, and I think it messed with my head a little bit, because I've lived in Milwaukee all my life. And I think I processed the trauma by writing a short play, which I would like to perform for you now. It's the hypothetical meeting of 2 characters, one fictional, one non-fictional, Jeffrey Dahmer, who we were just discussing, and the other one's name is Mrs. Fletcher. And if you don't know who I'm talking about, she's the elderly woman in distress in those old Life Alert commercials. And if you still don't know who I'm talking about, I'm fairly certain you will after I deliver her line. So here we go. Let me give you the premiere of Mrs. Fletcher meets Jeffrey Dahmer. I've fallen and I can't get up. 5-second rule.